This episode is brought to you by High Point Market. Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life you love. Join us as we explore the keys to living the life you want without compromise. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Design Dash podcast. I am your host, Melissa, and I'm here with my co-host, Laura. And today we have one question that we're going to discuss, and that is, do you actually want to be profitable or do you want to be liked? So this is something that we're trying to do one question, and this one question came up, and I think that we should first talk about why we feel like they're at odds. Like, why is profitability incompatible with being liked?
Yeah, why can't we have both? I want both. I am such a people pleaser, but I also am a business owner. I want both to be liked and to be profitable. I think they can be, I think you can have it all. But I think you've got to be very careful about how you do it. And I guess what I mean by that is like setting boundaries. Because a lot of times some of us, creatives, we can be, and business owners, we can be pushovers because we want to please our clients. And I think that is the idea here by like maintaining profitability while still being liked. Like sometimes you're going to have to do things that may upset others.
Right.
I mean, I'm coming up with an example that we're dealing with in our own studio right now. And that's about cutting time because we made a mistake on selections. And that's fine. I'm okay to do that. Like we can cut time and we can comp time for the time we spent on design. We bill hourly. So we're cutting that time because we did make a mistake. And it's something we should have anticipated. Mistakes happen. They just do. And it is something we should have anticipated. However, sometimes clients can be extraordinarily demanding and there's no way to make them happy and everything looks like a mistake to them. And so for me, that's a boundary. I would say there is a difference and sometimes it's hard to tell. And you just got to be really discerning. So anyway, that comes to mind. Like, at what point do you say, I can no longer cut time? That's not actually a mistake. That's something you asked for. You just don't like the answer.
Right.
Right. So at that point, I'm not going to be like, because that's not the client. That's not what the client's looking for me to say.
Right.
They don't want me
Exactly.
to say no.
Yeah. And I think also too, with clients who haven't yet become clients, there's often this feeling of, oh, I liked them. I want them to like me. Let's work together. When you know that
Yes.
they're probably not a great fit, you know that they're not going to fit within your process, but you want to develop that kind of relationship. I mean, I know we've been down that road too.
Yeah. I actually make notes now. So I'm not like looking at everything through rose-colored glasses when I'm talking to a client because a new project is so exciting.
Right.
Always, because I'm like, oh, I see a problem. I see potential. I really want to solve that and see what can happen here. So now I actually, when I'm meeting with the potential client, I take notes and I write red flag. If there's something that they say that I'm like, I need to really consider that. What does that mean? Ask more questions, get curious about that. But I do write the word red flag. I do want them to like me, of course. And I don't want to say no to their project ever.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just healthier to do that. But I mean, from an operations perspective, I feel like it comes up all the time because operations, you do have to say no because you are looking at numbers and numbers are black and white.
Right.
So like where's this coming up for you?
I have to set very rigid boundaries because, gosh, and I know people might not want to hear this, but I never feel like my loyalty is with the client. I feel like my loyalty is with the team. And
Mm.
so I want to make sure that they are comfortable. They have the resources they need, which means that we're profitable. So they have a livelihood. And that's always at the forefront of my mind. And so when I see things like, and we don't take on clients that aren't good fits in much longer. I mean, I think that's a mistake you don't make twice.
Right.
you you take that on, you
Or at
realize,
least like 5 times. You make that
I'm
mistake
not
like
gonna
5 times and you're done.
I'm not going to repeat it. But a lot of things like cutting time or undercharging to avoid pushback, or maybe just making something a pass-through cost and not marking it up because you don't know how to have the conversation. You don't want to have the conversation and you don't want to compromise your client relationship. And I think sometimes, and maybe on the design side, I can separate myself from this. I'm completely severed from that, unless when it comes to marketing and I'm dealing with clients with photography. But I don't have to. I don't have that kind of relationship with them. My relationship is very practical, and it's not emotional at all.
I
It's
think
very
that's a really important distinction because when you're a small business owner and you're doing the design and you're doing the operations and bookkeeping and accounting and invoicing, you're doing everything. So you're everything to your client. It's so much harder to separate that.
right.
Like we're a larger firm. And so now literally there's two of us. There's you and there's me, or there's like operations and design services. They're very different and we keep them separate for this very reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when you are solo or a small firm and you're handling all of these things on your own, you don't have the luxury of separation.
Yeah, and you don't wanna look difficult. You don't wanna come off as challenging a client. I think especially when you're just starting out, you're like, "Well, I need this client." I can't make them feel a certain way. I think we've gotten to a point now, of course, where we're bigger and we've been so established, we somewhat have the luxury of saying no, and I think that, when you are just starting out, you might feel like, "I have to say yes to everything, and I have to make it
Right.
work."
And you do. I mean, that's the reality. But I think that then this question becomes very valid. Do I want to be liked or do I want to be profitable? Because when you are a solopreneur or a small firm, you are making that choice in certain situations for
Yeah,
real. So you may have to have a tough conversation with a client who may not like you for a few days after you tell them that yes, they do in fact have to pay for a service that you rendered.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so you do have to make those decisions. Like I made a mistake on ordering something or not ordering something. I forgot to order something and it comes down to the end and I can't ask that client who thinks I ordered, thinks they paid for it for whatever reason. I got to just go buy it and put it in their house. No, that's going to eat into your profit. They may not like you when you say, "Ooh, I forgot to order that. Here's an invoice. Please pay for it." They may not like that, but that's the choice. That's what
Right,
it
yeah.
comes down to.
And I think that's why I always recommend people have this other person, right? This operations person or somebody
If you
handling
can. Yeah.
invoicing and accounting, if you can, of course. And I think that there's a lot of part-time and contract solutions that are very approachable, that are very affordable. And it's for this very reason is enforcement, right? Neutral enforcement. So you don't
That
feel like
Melissa's gonna show up at your house with a baseball bat.
I mean, I'm neutral. I'm not like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm neutral about it, but I get to be because
Yeah.
I'm also not presenting design to them. I couldn't imagine being a designer presenting design to them, which is also again very sensitive and you're really putting yourself out there. There's a lot of vulnerability to that. But then you also have to tell, "Hey, you need to pay me for all of that." It's like that's tough.
If you're a designer, then you know that High Point is the epicenter for all things interior design. All your favorite furniture vendors are there, your favorite designers, manufacturers, tastemakers, trendsetters. Market happens every April and October, and we hope you'll register and attend. We're there each market, and we're always finding something new. We know you will too. Check out highpointmarket.org for more information.
You know what's interesting in our dynamic or this dynamic between operations, finance, and design services
Mm.
is that sometimes even we are at odds about making a decision for going after a client. And it can be tense between just the two of us. Like you're like,
Yeah.
we need to get paid. We need to get that money. And I'm just like, well, I'm coming from the client side, so I feel it in my heart. Like my anxiety is like here in my chest. And you're like, no, we're getting paid. And I'm like, well, the client, this happened and that happened, and we messed up and they're not happy, or they're having a hard time with X, Y, and Z, or the project has stalled. And you are very neutral. You are looking at from a numbers perspective, and you're like, all of those things are great. I hear you. However, we're still asking for that money.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can make us tense, I feel like,
Yeah.
even between the two of us, because I'm like, "You're not hearing me.
Yeah.
We can't ask for that." And you're like, "Well, yes, we can."
Oh, yeah, we can.
I mean, do you feel like that, especially because you do review everything with Shannon and Megan, who are our directors of design. So they are client facing, they report to the client, they work with the team. Like, how do you
Yeah,
feel about that
we
dynamic?
have, I mean, we've had a lot of conflict around that because I'm not looking at the clients in the same way that they are. I don't have that relationship. And again, my focus isn't the client, my focus is the team and making sure that they can get paid and that we're a profitable business. And so we have had some disagreements about going after invoices and things like that. But that's usually the only thing. Like, I'm not tricky on design decisions or whatever kind of conversations you guys need to have. That's not my realm at all. But I think when it comes down to, like, we're cutting a little bit too much time for what? I often want to get to, like, the psychology of it, because I think sometimes people pleasers might feel like they're doing something for the client, but if you're a people pleaser, you're doing that for yourself. Like, that's all about
Oh,
control. It's all about controlling how you're perceived by another person.
there you
It's not
go. Do you want to be liked?
right. Do you want to be liked? Like, that's the people pleasing thing. It's not, I need to please this person. It's like, I want to please this person so they have a good feeling about me, so that they have a
Uh-huh.
positive perception about me. And I think you have to detach yourself from that. But that, of course, is easier said than done.
Yeah, well, and I also think it's easier over time as a
Yeah.
business owner. Like for me now, it is easy, but easier. And now I'm kind of in the middle between Melissa, you, and operations, and then Shannon and Megan on the design side and the client facing side. So I see both perspectives. And so that's kind of a good, I mean, it can be a conflict sometimes, but it is a good place to be because I can weigh it because I get
Yeah.
it. I'm like, okay, I see it from their perspective, but I can also see it a little more impartially because I'm not, and I do report to our clients. Like if something goes sideways and there is something happening that involves big sums of money, I
Yeah.
absolutely step in. Um, but I am able to do it more impartially now and just really take the whole situation in. And of course, I want everyone to like me. It does feel
Yeah.
good to be liked. Not gonna lie, like, I don't wanna be hated, like,
Oh no,
that
you gotta have
sucks.
some haters. You can't have lovers.
No, I don't want haters, that sucks, I hate
No.
that.
Yeah, you need them.
That's
They're out there,
uncomfortable.
whether you want to believe it or
Shh,
not.
shh, don't tell me, I don't wanna know. Anyway, whatever, so I don't interact with them, so that's okay, go hate me over there. I don't know, I think you're right, though, like, it does come down to, can you be impartial and make decisions from a neutral point of view?
And I think sometimes you just can't. I mean, if you're dealing with a client and you love this client and you love their design and you want to do the best for them, you can't, which is why I think you have to have somebody in your business who
I
can
agree.
be impartial
You're
because,
like,
I
"Hey,
mean,
bookkeeper, go be bad guy for me."
right, exactly. I'll be the bad guy all day long because I have that relationship with them. So that's
Yeah.
fine. They can hate me from sun up to sundown. I'll never think about it. I will not give it a second thoughts.
Yeah. I mean,
um,
but it's not like you're heartless or not heartless. Heart doesn't even come into it.
yeah,
It's not like you're not taking into consideration facts and information. Like you
right, right.
are considering the perspective of the design team and the perspective of the client. That does come into consideration.
Absolutely, of course,
Yeah.
because there are times where it's just like, okay, we do have to cut that time because we did make a mistake. We made a
Yep.
big mistake, and why should the client pay for that? Like, that was something that we should have done correctly. I
Yep.
completely understand, but I think that there are some times when the design team might wanna go outside of a process for a client. They might wanna put them we bill hourly. We love hourly, but every once in a while, a designer will be like, "Well, let's put them on a fixed because 'cause they'll really like that." That drives me bananas because that is the first red flag of many red flags that will lead to a terrible situation for us
Yep.
every
Yep.
single time is going outside of your process. So those are the times when I do want to push back. It's like, well, why are we sacrificing ourselves to make them happy? I'm okay
Yep.
with, cutting into a little bit of profit, all of that good stuff because our margins are fine. Like that's why we set them the way that we do is to
We
allow
allow for that, right?
for
Yeah.
those kinds of mistakes. But if we're just voluntarily reducing revenue preemptively, that makes no sense to me.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes that's what the designers say, well, it'll make the client happy. Like, why? No, no, it wouldn't. It's gonna make
Yeah,
you
I
feel
think at that point, then we just start digging into questions like, why are
yeah.
we doing this? Who is it serving?
Right.
Or so is it really serving the client at all?
Right. It's
Uh,
serving you. Like it's going
right.
to make you feel good to offer them something. But especially I think when you have a larger team, that cuts into bonuses for your team. It cuts into what they have to take on now. And that's what I think about. I think
Yeah.
beyond the client into that.
Yeah, I think at that point you just start asking questions and come up with alternative solutions. Um, yeah, because we're not going to go to a fixed.
Mm-mm.
We
It
try
doesn't
not
work.
to.
It
No,
doesn't
it doesn't
work.
work. It
It
doesn't
doesn't
work.
work for us. I mean, I think that it can work for a lot of people, solopreneurs. I mean, even if you have a very small team and you have a really good grasp of how long things take you, that's great. But we have a big
Mm.
team. We're working on projects for several years. Fixed does not work. So that's one thing that kind
So,
of one. I will.
so back to the one question: do you want to be profitable or do you want to be liked?
Profitable all day long. I mean, I guess the question is like liked by whom?
Right,
You know,
right. I think both are possible if you're doing it right. I think if you're digging in to the why behind, why is someone not gonna like you? Why is it either or? It doesn't have to be. I think you can do both. Like you can still be in service of your client at a very high level, and that will make you very profitable. I don't know. I think that there are just hard conversations you have to have, but you have them in the right way. And someone may not like what you're saying, but that doesn't mean they don't like you.
I can't control them. I can't control how they feel about me, but I can
I can
control
control
my
myself.
response. Yeah, I can control myself. I can control how I address the situation and my response to it. And I think if I feel like it's aligning with my core values, if it's aligning with, how I like to conduct myself, it's the right answer. However they feel about it or not doesn't matter.
There you go. That's it. Thanks. Thanks for listening to us today. Now you know we don't care if we are liked. Well, Melissa doesn't. I do. But that last statement, mic drop. We're out.
Bye everybody. Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our next podcast coming live next week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, you can find us and more wonderful stories like these on designdash.com. And make sure to follow us at Design Dasher on Instagram and TikTok. Till next time.